Get started here, thank you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So
Athletes, go through a sports season throughout the school year, many different sports. There's a lot of hands involved through the schools, the community, our businesses, our administration, bus garage. Thank you. Thank you to each of you. And then each year we kind of look through the system here, and if there's somebody that kind of sticks out and volunteers their time a lot, we try to give a special recognition award out each year. And the individual this year has been around for several years. He's had a hand in several different programs. I've never seen him turn down a kid that wants to get better. And Coach Odom is going to say a couple things about this man before we present him with his plaque.
So about 6 years ago, this individual came up to me at a football game and introduced himself and said, "I want to help with the wrestling team." And told me what he had to offer. I didn't know this guy from Adams House. I really did. But I made a couple of phone calls and called the head coach at Banquet High School, Mark Harris, a friend of mine, said, "Hey, I need to ask you about somebody." And he said, "I'll tell you right now," he said, "he will make your program better." I said, "Well, then stop the conversation right there. That's all I need to know." And so he came in and used our strength and conditioning guy for the last 6 years, and immediately we found success. And over the last 6 years, he's helped with the wrestling team, he's helped with the volleyball team, he's helped with the softball team. And you don't take far down this line to look and know over the last 6 years how much he's helped get our kids in shape and how much time and dedication he's had to the kids. And on top of that, there's been a lot of these young men especially, we need work, and he's opened up his home, trying to just help our community. He's a tremendous individual and a really good friend of mine. This year's special recognition award goes to James Keith.
Okay, this year we are glad that we're actually able to compete, as the last couple of years we've been shut down. So we're excited about that. My first award goes to a young lady who has been part of our shooting team all throughout high school. And that is Miss Adela Fernandez.
Way to go, Dale.
Since the mic's not working, I'm just going to stand over here, everybody. Our next award goes to the MVP, which was voted by Ms. Pierce. And coincidentally, he's a good all-around shooter. That is Ryan Lynn.
I'm going to be recognizing the cross-country awards. So this cross-country season, we saw lots of improvement and growth towards building our program. Every single runner came hard this season, and multiple qualified for regionals, and one qualified for state. I'm going to start off recognizing Xander Walchachuk. Proven to be a competitive runner for our team. He brought his PR down to 1858 this season, placed 12th at conference this year, and he earned all conference honorable mention. Next, I'm going to hand out the Coaches Award to Zeb Stewart. So me and the other cross-country coaches said that if all the athletes acted like Zeb did, we would never have a problem. He's always on time. He never misses a practice. Never has an attitude problem. Never gets in trouble, and he'll do anything we ask him to, and it's improved each season. So lastly, for the boys awards, I'd like to recognize Hayden Stewart, who has earned 2 awards this season. So Hayden placed 8th at conference this season, earning all-conference honorable mention. He also placed in the top 8 for all the conference races this year. Went from a PR of 1840 to a PR of 1746. He qualified for regionals, and he also qualified for state as an individual. With all this being said, Hayden has earned the MVP award for being our top runner. For our girls team, I would like to recognize Liberty Hardley for 2 awards. So Liberty placed 7th at conference, earning all conference for the SNC. She also brought her PR down to 22-29. She placed in the top 9 in all the races and qualified for regionals as an individual, earning the MVP award as well.
I'll be giving out the awards for the volleyball team. I do want to recognize my seniors. I have 6 this year, so if I call your name, just stand up. Jacob Jimenez, Hallie Anderson, Hallie Ayers, Ivy Odom, Phoebe Wagner, and Kelsey Walter. This group of seniors is going to be very tough to lose. I've never lost this amount of girls before, and so you guys will be greatly missed. I'm going to start off with my honorable mention. So I have 1 honorable mention this year, and that is Hallie Anderson. I had 4 players receive all conference. That is Jacob Jimenez, Kinsley Phillips, Delaney Brooms, and Allie Ayers. Other awards, I have 2 coaches awards this season. Both of these girls were great assets to our team, and they both play positions that typically don't receive a lot of credit. They don't necessarily score all our points, but without them, the points wouldn't be possible. And those 2 players are my setter, Allie Ayers, and Hallie Anderson, who took on the role of the libero for the first time. I also have a special award for Allie. Like I said, she is our setter this year, and I have never given out this award before, and I don't believe Allie knows this, but she exceeded over 1,000 assists during our season this year. And lastly, I have 2 more awards. Like I said, volleyball is a sport where some positions don't necessarily receive the credit that is due, and it takes 3 people to score 1 point. So to choose one MVP is just not very accurate whenever it comes to the sport of volleyball. And so I have 2 MVP awards to give out. The first one is my offensive MVP award. This person led our team this year. She was our force on the net. She led our team in shooting percentage. She led our team in blocks. She finished the season with 252 kills, 32 total blocks, and 41 aces. She received all conference, and that is our middle hitter, Jacob Jimenez. And lastly, I have our defensive MVP. Like I said, the points are not possible if it didn't start with the defense. This person actually has a very impressive stat. She was number 2 in our conference with digs. And for those of you who know volleyball, your libero plays all 6 positions all around. This player just played 3 and was still able to exceed every libero within our conference except for 1, and finished number 2 in the conference with 374 digs. She was also a force on the front row, and that person is Kinsley Phillips.
Okay, the first thing I'd like to do is to thank this community, and what a wonderful bunch of fans we have. You just don't know how much that means to these kids. When they come down that hill and that stadium's rocking, it just makes a wonderful atmosphere, and then these kids try to perform to that. We just want you to know how much we appreciate our fan support. We had a very different type of football season. Like I said earlier, this COVID has changed the world. We played a game. We won a big game over Robbinsville High and thought we were rolling. And all of a sudden, the next week, before we go to the Valor, we got about 10 kids that don't get to go with us. We find out on Thursday and Friday. We ended up dressing out 20 people over there, and we didn't have our full team. And should have won the game. We made a few mistakes, but we know we should have won the game. And then we come back to school on Monday, and they shut our program down. We were the only team in Western North Carolina that the school closed, and we were not allowed to practice. We didn't get to see our kids, or we didn't have to have practice for 2 weeks. So, you know, we're scared to death what's going to happen. Are they going to come back? But they did come back, and we went back to work, and these kids overcame lots of adversity, and in doing so, they became the conference champions. And I want to commend you. If you are on the football team, would you please stand up? You're the Smoky Mountain Conference champions. And we made an awesome run too in the state playoffs. We just came up a little bit short when we got to Mitchell. We'd kind of run out of guys. I don't know if you realize what happened, but football is a very demanding sport. It's hard on kids' bodies. And they moved our season before to the spring. We played 15 football games in the spring, and by the end of that spring, we had a lot of beat-up bodies. And then we come right back and turn around, and we played 14 games. These kids ought to be commended for what they went through, whether we won or not. At the end, they put their bodies out there. They sacrificed for this school and this community, and I'm really proud of what y'all have accomplished. What we're going to do now is recognize the all-conference honorable mention. When all of you get up here, just if you will stay until everybody gets up here, I'd appreciate that. First all-conference honorable mention was Hayden Key, an offensive lineman. The next one is Carson White, an offensive lineman. The next one is Dyson Groves as a quarterback. And Jude Campbell as a linebacker. And the certificates may say honorable mention, but in my eyes, they were all conference. And it's hard to get a lot of people on the all-conference team when everybody else is trying to get theirs on there the same. But what you need to know is all of these sports teams from here, when they are named all-conference, it's not because we turned their name in and named them all-conference. It's because we get to nominate them, and we are not allowed to vote for our kids. The coaches that you play against is who chooses our kids or votes for our kids or not. I cannot cast a vote for our team. So a lot of times I know we're accused, and our other coaches are accused of not letting the kid be all-conference, which is not true. We don't elect them. All we can do is get a certain amount of nominations and try to nominate as many kids as we can, and it's in other people's hands. So when you make all-conference, you've made a lot of people in our conference recognize you. That's an honor. So you need to be proud of that. You've done the right thing. Most of the time you don't make all-conference if you're being a thug on the court or on the field or whatever. You got to do the right things to be recognized. Our all-conference selections: Carlos Wesley in the offensive line. Carlos also was voted as the co-lineman of the year in the Smoky Mountain Conference. Eddie Brooms at tight end. Brock Adams at wide receiver. Cutler Adams at running back. Cody Klein as a kicker. I don't know if anybody went to Murphy or not, but Cody sure changed our season when he hit the field goal. He brought us back to life. Ben Wachacha, defensive end. And Isaac Wiggins as a punter. All right, now we're going to give our Coaches Award. This year's Coaches Award was high, and that goes to Cutler Adams and Cage Williams. And I also forgot to call Cage's name out for all-conference linebacker. I was giving his name MVP choice also goes to 2 young men, and that's Carlos Wesley and Brock Adams. Hey, we appreciate y'all very much. Keep that fan support coming, please.
Anyway, I'd like to give out the awards for cheerleading this year. I'd like to recognize my seniors. If you're here, if you'll stand up. Olivia Bernheisel, Sarah Brooks, Chloe Birchfield, Lisbeth Cervantes, Reagan Ditmore, Ella Graham, Keely Jordan, Tabby Jordan, and Lily Lancaster. The first awards I'm going to give out are our UCA All-Americans. These girls try out at camp a very long 3 days of camp, and they go up in front of a panel of judges, and then they perform. And then, so I think I had 10 or 11 try out and had 6 make All-American. The first one is Kelly Williams.
Woo, Kelly!
Our next All-American is Chloe Birchfield.
That's my twin.
Next All-American is Reagan Ditmore. All-American is Lindsey Britton. Our final All-American is Haley Chris. So our MVP is voted on by our team, and this year was really hard to. This cheerleader, I don't even know, I'm gonna cry. But anyway, this cheerleader was voted on by her peers of cheerleaders, and she knocked the top out of the scores. When I put them all together, it is Lindsey Britton. So I have 2 Coaches Award. These 2 were my right-hand girls. I couldn't have done the season without them. They also had a lot of votes for MVP. My 2021 Coaches Award to Sarah Brooks and Keely Jordan.
So this year was the first year that indoor track was an actual conference sport. But we've had athletes compete from Robbinsville in indoor track before this year at regular meets and at state. But in our first official season, the girls earned 6 full records. The boys earned 4 full records. We had 7 events earn all conference titles. The girls team came in second in the conference, had 4 girls qualify for the 1A, 2A indoor state championships, 3 all-state awards, and 1 state champion, proven to be a great first season. So first I'm going to call out the list of names for the all-conference honorable mention awards. So first up is Kaylin Lunsford in long jump in the 55-meter tag. Jones in long jump. And last is William Cable in the 1600. Next, I'm going to recognize the athletes who earned all conference. Zoe Schuler in long jump, triple jump, the 55-meter dash, and the 4x200 relay. Kaylin Lunsford in the 4x2 relay. Phillips in the 4x2 relay. Delaney Grooms in the 4x2 relay and the 300. Hayes Moore in the 55 hurdles. William Cable in the 3200. Okay. Next, I'm going to award the Coaches Award. This is going to go to 2 girls who led the team with strong leadership, from leading stretches to doing workouts during the Christmas break and everything in between, making our job as coaches a whole lot easier. I would like to award Hayes Moore and Kaylin Lunsford as the coaches. Next, our MVP for the girls team goes to a girl who is the conference champion in 4 events. She broke the school record 4 different times. She placed 5th in the 55-meter dash at state, 3rd in the 4x2 relay at state, 2nd in triple jump at state, and is the state champion for the 1A, 2A, and long jump, earning herself the MVP award. so is she. Okay, lastly, the MVP for the boys team. This boy improved his times during the season. He set the record for the 1600 and the 3200. He earned all conference honorable mention and all conference titles during the season, and this goes to William Cady.
So just a little bit about our season. We finished third in the conference for the first time in 7 years. We won a state playoff game, so that's a huge accomplishment for us. If you came to watch these boys play basketball, I promise you probably enjoyed watching them play because they played really hard. They played with a lot of heart. I promise you they did. They never made an excuse. They might have been short-numbered, but they never made an excuse, looked for the easy way out. They always went and took that head on. I want to recognize my seniors to start with. Mason Gross, Kevin Jordan, Andy Curtis, and Andrew Keeler Jordan. These 4 kids will be greatly missed. So now we'll go to the Honorable Mention Award for boys basketball. This year was Xander Wachacha. Next, I'll go with our all-conference awards. That is Brock Adams, Next, I'll go with our Coaches Award. This year we got a Co-Coaches Award. Talk to us a little bit about both the kids for just a second. The first one, you couldn't ask for a better sixth man for basketball purposes for us. There's no question. He did everything we asked him to do. When he came into the game off the bench, it was like an instant spark for us, automatic. The energy, everything just went up because he came into the game. And the second one, again, you couldn't ask him to do anything more as well. He second in rebounds for us. He led us in charges. He did all the little things. He hustled. He was a freshman. He was intimidated. So the Coaches Award this year goes to Bo Rattler, Bryce Adams. Lastly, the MVP award for boys basketball this year. It's co-MVP. Can't say enough about him. We wouldn't have been where he was at without either one of them, no question. Brock Adams, Camden Jordan.
girls basketball this past season. Finished with a record of 20-7 overall, 8-2 in the conference, finished second in the conference. This group, the seniors with this group, I think finished with a total of 75 wins and low 20-something losses throughout their 4-year career, which is a great career here at Robbinsville. The seniors are Hallie Anderson, Jacob Jimenez, Dallas Garrett, and Joe Montana. We had 2 senior managers, which were Brooke Turpin and Kelsey Waldrop as well. As I call your name out for the award, if you don't care just to stay up here, we'll do our conference awards first. All conference honorable mention was Zoe Shula. Hallie Anderson. And Kinsley Phillips. Our all-conference girls this year that made all-conference was Esther Trammell. While these girls are coming up to get these awards, Coach Beasley was talking about how fun the boys were to watch. These girls are a lot like that. These girls play hard. We play a fast-paced offense, try to get up and down the floor, press, defense, and with that said, the athletes that they are they're phenomenal. The most athletic group as a whole is the team that I've ever coached here. They freed us up to do a lot of different things. To do our team awards, we've got a defensive award we're going to give out. The defensive award goes to a young lady who was challenged each night. No matter who we were playing, she defended the other team's best player. It didn't matter if she was guarding a center that was 6'2", or she was guarding a point guard that was 5'6". And she did a phenomenal job for us all season, shutting down the other players on the other teams. And that's Kinsley Phillips. We have a hustle award that we're going to give out. It's a girl that very rarely, I don't think I ever see her lose a sprint. She's up and down the floor. Sometimes she goes so fast that she gets a little ahead of herself. She may take 2 steps before she dribbles. She just runs that fast. And you're going to see more about that here in a minute with her track awards, and that's Zoe Shula. Our coaches award this year goes to a young lady that she came into our life probably 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. Did not speak to us when she got here. It was a battle. But over the course of the 4 years, through hanging out with the team, through apps on our phones that translated what we wanted to say to her. The first year, that's how we communicated with her. We would communicate with the phone, and we'd show it to her, and we'd tell her what we were expecting of her. The language barrier closed, and she is a heck of a basketball player, and she's an even better person than J.K. Jimenez. Our MVP this year is going to go to 2 young ladies that are very special, and what they've done for our team, you can't put a mark on. That goes for any of these girls, but these 2, one of them took 5 charges in 1 game, has done any and everything that we asked her to do. She can play the point guard all the way down to the center. She led our team in rebounds. The other young lady can score from anywhere, is a force on the court all year round. She works on her game in and out of season, averaged 20-something points a game again this year, and it was also all-district first team. The first girl is Hallie Anderson. The next one is Destiny.
So, you know, there's certain songs that you listen to and become associated with different things, and I'll never listen to Wanted Dead or Alive without thinking about the rest of it. Just something that just happens. So, but the first part of that song says it's all the same, only the names will change. Well, throughout the years, I've had a bunch of really, really good guys be a part of this school. While I was sitting there, I got confirmation. I told Kevin Hensley about it, but I can actually release it now. So one of the last things I did was I nominated the Dirty Dozen for the National Wrestling Coaches Association Staff of the Year for North Carolina. They won that. So you're looking at least a portion of the North Carolina State Assistant Coaching Staff of the Year. So give them a good hand. So even cooler, and I'm going to read these names out. Billy Knight, Minmill Saps, DJ Robinson, James Kiefer, Colby White, Travis Hooper, Josh Winfrey, Tom Sawyer, Weston Haney, Urban Portugal, Josiah Phillips, Brandon Lee, and Carter Williams. See, I'll get up front so you get the picture made. It's actually 13, but it's a dirty dozen for us. So, being the state staff of the year, they got nominated to be the District 3 staff of the year, which is the 8 lower southern states. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your District 3 winners of the National Wrestling Coaches Association. Last but not least, we got entered into the national competition, and they placed second to Flat Rock, Montana. And so second in the country is not bad. So I just want to tell these guys thank you. So, obviously, we had a great year, and I'll do my best to get through this. First thing I want to mention is that this group of seniors have never lost in the Smoky Mountain Conference. They finished up with a good deal. They've won their 6th straight Smoky Mountain Conference title and their 6th straight Smoky Mountain Conference tournament title. Something pretty neat this year, though, was the fact that every kid we put in the tournament ended up on the podium. And so, for all conference and honorable mention, second is honorable mention, first is all conference. So I'll do the honorable mentions first. Miss Ainsley Fink, come on up. Ethan Webster, Juan Rios, and your Smoky Mountain Conference champions at 106 pounds, Alexis Panama. Logan Hyde, Jaden Mount, Shane White Savage, Jared Panama, Big Red Jacob Hall, Kyle Feeney, Ben Watchach and Carlos Wesley. I want to give a shout out. I think Murphy Shanahan's in the crowd. He also played third at the Smoky Mountain Conference. 14 weight classes. We podiumed all 14. Pretty big team. Snap a picture and get off stage. our season was pretty incredible. We ended up with 9 state qualifiers, which is a Robbinsville wrestling record. Put 9 in the state tournament on the boys' side. We also had a young lady qualify for the girls, so 10 state qualifiers total. Made a tremendous run at it. We finished second at the state tournament with 4 boys state champs, which is ridiculous, just to be honest, to have that many state champs not win the tournament. But it is what it is. But our state qualifiers, I just want to mention their names real quick. Alexis Panama, Logan Hyde, Jaden Al, St. Lutz Savage, Jared Panama, Kyle Fink, Cage Williams, Ben, Wachacha, and Carlos Wesley. Out of that group of 9 that we sit down there, Carlos Wesley placed second overall. We also had Jared Panama placed 4th overall, which is super cool. So what this group of individuals has done over their careers, is pretty incredible. 14 out of the last 15 years, we finished either as a dual team or as a tournament team in the top 4 in the state, which is remarkable to say the least. So I'm very proud of the efforts that they've put in. We had 5 state champions. I'm going to talk about them all real quick. And we'll get through it and move forward and we'll get to our awards. With our state champs, I told this person, somebody has to be first. And I think that's the toughest thing in any sport, is to be the first team, the first individual that ever do it. But then the ice is broken, and then it opens doors for other people to try to match that achievement. For us, it was Lynn Pilgrim back in 1989 to win our first state title. As the sport has grown, they've opened it up to ladies, and this lady is at first. She won a conference title as a junior. She made the state finals as a sophomore, and then won a state title as a junior and a senior. Qualified on the boys' side. She was absolutely dreaded by everyone that she faced, and I can't say enough about her. Ladies and gentlemen, the first lady to ever win the state title in Western North Carolina, Ainsley Fink. The way we give out our MVP. So that I can speed it up, is whoever goes the furthest in the state tournament automatically becomes our most valuable wrestler. We have 5 of those. So, and I'm not calling out in weight class order, I'm calling them out in the order that they won the state titles this year. So our next young man who won the state title, he, pretty special to me, obviously. He done something that nobody at the school has ever done. He won 3 state titles, made the finals as a freshman, and did the opposite of what most kids do. Most kids go up in weight class, and this young man wrestled in the state finals at 220 pounds, then won the state title at 195 pounds, and won another state title at 195 pounds, and then this year dropped down to 182 to win the state title. I think he's working right now. I think he's made it. He's here, right? So, didn't know if he's going to make it or not, but I am so proud of him, Mr. Kyle Fink. Kyle was also named, we were struggling to find it back here, he was also named the 2022 Smoky Mountain Conference Wrestler of the Year. So, 3-time section. This next young man, we waited forever for this guy to get to school, like high school. He's been around. I mean, he's been mistaken for being a college wrestler for about 3 or 4 years now. And what a tremendous wrestler. He really is. But what I want you to understand even more is what a great young man he is. I'm going to ask one thing this kid didn't do. If I'd ask him to stand on his head for an hour, he'd do it gladly. And that's the kind of kids that you want to produce in your program. So I'm very, very tickled for him. He's got one ding on his record in high school, but he didn't lose it. He had a negative forfeit because his arm came into place. So, we're very fortunate to come all the way out. But he is such an hammer on the mat that I'm telling you, he's one of the best kids to walk through these halls. 2-time state champ, Cage Williams. So the next guy is a young man who wrestled all the way through our kids program, through the middle school, into the high school. You know, we talk about kids turning the corner. And, you know, we got in the conference tournament over there, and we watched a kid from Swain County that ended up placing second in state, and this kid just give this Swain kid a fit. And we're like, this kid's going to be good. This guy, I think he's going to be something. He goes into regionals and seated pretty low and beats the next 2 guys, gets in the semifinals, and beats a bunch of chicken around before missing Flake by 2 tenths, I believe it was, the next day. And what's bad is I give him permission to eat flipping chicken. That's my fault. It's my fault. You know, he weighed in the 70s his whole career. That particular day, he weighed 185.2. And so he missed it. I've never seen a daddy as mad as this dad was. And kudos to the parents and everyone in the coaching staff. They always put the emphasis on the kid. And the kid should have known better. The kid should have done this. And so this kid went to work. And it's amazing to see how he transformed himself over the next 2 seasons. And even though he was the underdog most of the time, he is the top dog. And he's going to continue his wrestling career at the University of Mount Olive. He is now a 2-time state champion. Benjamin Big Ben Wachacha. Last but not least, we got a couple of awards to give out after this, but our last state champ that got it done at the state tournament, 106 pounds, we knew he was talented. We just didn't know how talented he was. And wrestling is just as much a mental game as anything else. And when he went into regionals and he got to the state tournament, he was nothing but business, and he stayed focused, and quite truthfully, it wasn't even close. I mean, he absolutely destroyed everybody at the state tournament, and he's got 2 more years to get it done. He's an incredible athlete. He's incredibly talented. Is he here, Jared? He's not here, but I certainly love him and wish the best for him, and that is Mr. Alexis Brown. You can jump off the stage, guys. So those are our most valuable wrestlers for our program. Now the last two awards, I'm going to jump off what the coaches did. Last two awards are pretty special to us as a staff. We try to get together and talk about our most improved wrestling. And we look at the guy or the gal who has had the most growth over the season. And for us, you know, we've been very fortunate to have, you know, a tremendous amount of really good wrestlers for a long time. And so a lot of times not getting on the mat a whole lot is discouraging for kids. This kid had never wrestled. And Billy Knight recruited him. And he walked into our wrestling room without any expectations. And I can tell you before the end of the season, when we put him on the mat, we expected him to win. He has shown exponential growth. He will find a spot in the lineup next year as a full-time starter. And I'm really excited to watch and see how his career plays out. Our most improved wrestler is Hallie Anderson. Last but not least is our Coaches Award. This young man, I normally go and I see Billy and Ren and Colby and say, who's the guy? Who's the guy that if we couldn't be in the corner, he could be? Who's the guy that you know, is willing? There's two types of wrestlers in this world. There's two types of kids that either they want to show or prove that they're still a man, or they're willing to show any other kid what they know and make them better than what they know. Well, I tell you, there's not much better ever come through this school than this young man. He was a tremendous athlete, freakishly large hands, faster than a phone call. And when I asked Billy Knight about who this guy should be, he said, I tell you right now, there's been nobody more than this kid walk into our middle school room and try to make our middle schoolers be better. And so this young man ended up making the state finals as a freshman. He placed fourth as a sophomore, was a state champion as a junior, and then made the state finals as a senior. What an incredible career, an even better kid. Our Coaches Award goes to Mr. Jaden now. So I would make a big, sappy, long speech about me leaving, but I get to talk about the Black Knight Award, and y'all will hear about what it means to me to be a Black Knight in a few minutes. So the last 20 years, they've been great. This community, this program, these people in the world, and I'm very grateful time that I have being a part of the program, not being the head coach, just being one of these guys. So, talk to you a little bit. Thank you so much. I love you very much. Thank you.
So just a little bit about the golf team. Going into this year, not one single player had ever played a high school golf match, ever. And we had all freshmen first-year players. So what we did was pretty remarkable not to have a golf course, number one, a driving range, a putting green, or anything. We just go hit balls and pick them up and go hit them again. Okay? So for us to finish second in the conference was a pretty amazing achievement for them. So I'm super proud of them. First off, I want to recognize the two seniors, Jason Gross, Cody Talon. We also, like I said, we finished second in the conference, and we also qualified for regionals as a team for the first time since 2014. So, on to the awards. Honorable mention, Trey Lambert. All conference, Isaiah Brown. Coaches Award, we had co-coaches award this year. Both of these kids have done absolutely everything we asked them to do. They improved through the whole year. First of the year, one of them had never even swung a golf club, and towards the conference tournament, he ends up shooting good enough for his score. Will be one of the ones that counted. So our co-coaches award for golf is Trey Lambert, Turner Jackson. For golf goes to Mr. Isaiah Brown. And an interesting fact about Isaiah, yes, he's a freshman. He missed going to the state tournament by only 2 shots. So hopefully in the next 3 years he can become one of the first golfers to qualify for the state tournament from Robbinsville. So I kind of want to start off with just making a comment that we had an amazing track season this year. And you'll hear some of the comments that go on. But going back to indoor to the outdoor season, we ended with 5 individual state champions. So that's a pretty impressive track season. To start off with, though, I'm not making all my coaching staff get up here. Beforehand, but I will recognize some of you right here in the audience. Which got Coach Kevin Carringer Adams, Ronnie Carringer helps out.
Yeah, Roy.
Jeremy Lunsford, go ahead and stand up, Coach Lunsford. He's our jumping coach. Coach Luke Haney. Coach Ty Gibb is not here. He's our hurdle coach. And then Jeremiah Bird helps out with the thrower. He's got 3 divisions. All right. So on with our awards. Like I said, we had a really good season. I'll start off with the honorable mention of the all conference. In track, it's kind of like wrestling. I think I'm wrestling. If you want to win all conference, you got to win the conference. That's the same thing with track. If you want to be all conference in track, you go to the track conference track meet and you win. Honorable mention is you got 2nd place. So we'll start off with all conference. When I call you out, just stay up here so you can get a picture. Caitlin Lunsford, triple jump. Cooper Adams in the 4x4 relay. Brock Adams, 4x4 relay. Jonathan Carpenter, 4x4 relay. And Sally Shannon, 4x4 relay. Next, all conference. Like I said, to be all conference, you got to win the conference in your event. First, Caleb Lunsford, 4x2 and 4x1 relay. Kinsley Phillips, 4x2 and 4x1 relay. Delaney Bruins, 4x2 and 4x1 relay. Jake Jimenez, 4x1 relay. Brock Adams, high jump, 110-meter hurdle, and 300-meter hurdle. Joey Sheeran, long jump, triple jump, 100-meter dash, and 4x1. Our honorable mention and all conference athletes track. All right, next up, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. But next, we have a point club with track. And basically, it's how many points these athletes have scored throughout the whole season. We have 10 meets. So to make the 100-point club, you have to score at least 10, on average, 10 points per meet, and so on from there. And most meets are smaller meets, so if you win a race, you only get 8 points. So it takes a little bit. You got to be competitive more than one event usually to make it in the 100-point club or higher. So when I call out your name for the 100-point club, just stay here in each picture. 100-point club is Delaney Bruins, Edwin Jimenez, Peter Adams, Tucker Adams, Cameron Jordan, Carson Love, and Shelly Shanker. While they're smiling and getting their picture made, we'll move on to the 200-point club. And this is rare. I've been helping with the track program for 15 years, head coach for the last 5 or 6. And I don't think we've ever had anybody happen at those times in the 200-point club. It may have happened, I'm not aware of it, but we've got Caitlin Lunsford, Kinsley Phillips, and Jordan Sheehan. That means on average they scored more than 20 points per meet. Which is pretty impressive. Good job. Get your picture. All right, and then the last one here, and I do know for a fact this is the first time in the history of Robbinsville track and field we had an athlete score over 300 points to actually come out after the state meet at 305. I knew before going into it that he had a chance because he had 279 points before the state meet, and he was predicted to win 2 state championships and do pretty well in the other one, so that would give him a total of over 300. He might be 305. That's Brock Adams. We'll go on into our coaches awards. For the girls team, we have a split award here. I'm going to give a little story on both of them. That way you can get the context of what's going on. Our first one, like I told you a minute ago, Jeremiah Bird was our throwing coach. And there's some days that he had to work because he's a tribal officer. Sometimes he's working to get back to practice. So we have one of our athletes with us. She could give her the papers, about to go there, make sure she's going to do this. And she came back and report. She was like a little adult out there. You never had to worry about her. She never missed practice. She always doing what she's supposed to do. And just very dependable. That's what you look at in the coach school. The other one is kind of a running joke we got going. Whenever she wasn't currently practicing or in something, like I say, we were working on long jump and she was there watching. She would give some words of encouragement. She would look at him and say, just do better. Right? And after Zoe jumped 39 feet, but after she jumped that, I handed her a bottle of water. I said, do better. But anyway, our coaches awards go to Eve Moore and J.K. Mann. Coach's Award for the boys. This athlete is also one of the ones that you never have to worry if he's coming to practice. He's always there. He's dependable. Whatever we asked him to do this year, he's done it. He tried some field events he'd never tried before. He was willing to try whatever, and always give him a positive attitude, and that's Carson. All right, next up, well, basically, whenever you have a team full of athletes like the girls team this year, we kind of have to split it up to recognize everybody. So we broke it up into most valuable field athlete performers and most valuable track runners, and then most valuable overall. So for our first, most valuable field event participant, well, I can guarantee you this: in the state meet, I bet you won't find a triple jumper any shorter than she was. And I'm not going to mention that. It's unbelievable what she's able to do with her size, and that limits you when you're trying to jump. That's just how it goes. This year, she scored the most points ever scored in the history of Robbinsville track by a female athlete. And she's on the team that holds the 4x1, 4x2 record. Finished, I'm messing up, for the state meet, she was, what'd you get? 5th and 6th, right? All state. Made the finals of both of them, that's pretty impressive. Our most valuable field event participant is Caleb Munson. Our MVP in track events, which is the running side of it, we have a split award here. Both these girls are phenomenal runners, unbelievable competitors. You always knew what you could get out of them, which is 100%. I'll go ahead and call her name. It's Kinsley Phillips and Blaine Brooks. Kinsley holds the 4x1 and 4x2 record. Laney is on the team that holds the 4x2 record, and if she keeps working, next year she can set the 400 record if she'll stick with it. All right, now for our overall MVPs, the girls. This may take a minute, so bear with me. Going back to the conference meet, well, first off, I don't think I'm wrong. She had to miss a couple weeks this year because she's a dual athlete, but pretty sure every event she competed in this year, she won. Either her relative won or she won it outright. She set a new conference record in long jump. Long jump, triple jump, 4x1, 4x2, and 200-meter school record set this year. At the conference meet, she was voted to be the most outstanding track and field performer of the meet. She set a state record in triple jump with 39 feet 9 inches, and 9.25 inches, and is a state champion in long jump and triple jump. That's pretty impressive. So she. scored the most points ever by a boy, track athlete ever in school history. He was undefeated all season in both hurdle races. Won the conference championship in both hurdle races and the high jump, and was second in the conference in the 4x4 relay. And also returning state champions. He won in the 110s last year. I'm going to say this about Brock. You wouldn't want to play after Brock. Last year, and I think Brock will get to this, he was surprised he won state championship. We all knew he had potential, but he was going to work for it when he did. He was shocked by it. This year, going into the state championship, he was predicted to win. And as a coach, if you've ever been in that situation, you're supposed to win, you're very nervous. I was watching the whole time thinking, don't mess up. Whenever he come down the curve with the 300 hurdles, he probably didn't hear me, but I was yelling, stay clean, stay clean. Because the guy running right beside him was actually ahead of him, but he hit the hurdles, and Brock was able to stay clean, didn't hit the hurdles, and won by like 2 seconds. So our MVP for boys track and field is Brock Adams.
We had a pretty good season this year. We let a couple of games get away, but I took over a few years ago. I set a goal to make the playoffs. They just finally did it this year, so it's going to happen. I had 3 seniors on this year's team. I'm going to stand up. Cole Patterson, Jake Harrison, and Carson White. I had 3 guys that got honorable mention all conference. That was Draylon Orr, Christian Phillips, and Nathan Kennedy. Christian's here tonight. We got the coach's award. This kid is one of my captains. He is a senior on the team. He played multiple positions. He played in the infield, he pitched, he played third base, he played in the outfield. That's Jake Garrison. Team MVP this year went to a kid. It was actually, I guess, his first year as a varsity starter. He was later on the team. He ended up getting named one of the captains. My other coaches, they called him Mr. Consistent because he for a non-catcher, he led the whole conference in fielding percentage as a non-catching position. That's Layton McKinney.
Coach for the Lady Knox softball team. Billy kind of threw me to the wolves tonight, so just bear with me and hopefully I can get all this right. So just a few things about our season. I would like to say we finished with a record of 20-3 and went undefeated in the Smoky Mountain Conference play with a record of 12-0. This is the 14th overall conference title for the softball program, and the 5th year in a row that we have won the conference. We have 4 girls playing on college teams right now, and that is something that we are very proud of. So now on to the awards. If you'll just stand up here for your picture and then head on out. So honorable mention goes to senior second baseman Hallie Anderson.
Next, we have all Smoky Mountain Conference players. This year we had 6 all-conference players, and that takes out almost half of the all-conference players in our conference, so that's a really big accomplishment we have. So just whenever we recognize you, just come up and get your picture. So first baseman, senior Ivy Odom. Third baseman, senior Patience Spratt. Outfielder, senior Ainsley Fink. Outfield and senior Brooke Turpin. Pitcher, our sophomore Memory Frapp, who is also selected as Smoky Mountain Conference Pitcher of the Year. Next is shortstop, sophomore Zoe Schuler, Smoky Mountain Conference Player of the Year. These are our Smoky Mountain Conference players. And now for the team awards. First up is the Most Improved Award, named after former Lady Knight Hallie Kennedy. This award goes to Brooke Turpin. The next award is the Mudito Award, named after former Lady Knight Kinsley Orr for being the best teammate. This award goes to Hallie Anderson. Next up is the Coaches Award. All high-level teams have coaches on the field, and this young lady was that girl for us. Ivy Odom is our recipient of the Coaches Award. Finally, we will give out our MVP award. We had to split this award as well. It was impossible to pick between these 2 talented sophomores, so we selected both Zoe Schuler and Memory Frapp as our MVP. We would like to thank everyone who helps make the softball program something that this community can be proud of.
All right, real quick before we get into our club awards, we've got a couple of coaches here that we need to recognize. The conference awards coaches as Coach of the Year in their individual sports if they win the conference. And we've got 3 coaches this year that are the SMC Coaches of the Year. And that is for football, Dee Walsh. Wrestling, Todd Odom. And for girls softball, Billy Knight. All right, getting into our club awards. First award up is the Joyce Perkins Award for Academic Excellence. This award goes to an individual that plays 2 sports or more and has the highest GPA amongst our student athletes. This young man not only is smart and does well in the classroom, he is well spoken, he is a very high character kid, and when you put the football down on the tee, he's clutch. And that's Cody Klein.
So I always try to get off work, and I have two favorite days in the year. The first day is like the first week of school or so, and we have Black Knight Day. And I love talking about what it means to be a Black Knight. And several years ago, we created an award to me that is most special, and it's the Black Knight Award. And I hope that as you leave these doors and these halls and this campus, that you truly embrace what it means to be a Black Knight. And the yes sirs, the no sirs, the yes ma'ams, the no ma'ams, acting like someone, wherever you're at. And to be a Black Knight, I truly believe is something special. Coach Walsh talked about it earlier out here. I was ready to fight because he kind of got me fired up. Because anybody, anytime, anywhere, we've got a bus, we'll travel, we'll strap it on, and we'll get it on. And it makes me feel good to be a Black Knight. It makes me feel good to know that we come from a group of tough people that have dirt in their DNA and are willing to do the extra and to go the extra mile. And so this Black Knight Award goes to two people this year. And the first one I want to talk about quite simply is a spark plug. She is very energetic. She is not 100 miles an hour, but 200 miles an hour. She completely embraced the Mudita culture, which is to have overwhelming joy for someone else's success. And so much so, that she got Mudita tattooed on herself. And now that's commitment. I'm not going to lie about it. I've got a big black knight on my thigh. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm committed to being a black knight for the rest of my life. Well, so is this young lady. So our first Black Knight Award goes to Brooke Speck. It's funny, I had to ask Ivy Odom, I said, does her parents know that she has a tattoo? Didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. So, it happens. So, the second... Now they know. They know now, for sure. So, funny story about that. I think Billy saw it in some kind of script or something. He's like, oh, Speck, check this out. I think it's going to be my next tattoo. About 3 days later, she walked in and said, check it out, Bill. I got it. So, anyway, pretty cool. So, being a Black Knight, obviously comes with a lot of responsibility. This next young lady probably is the definition of responsibility. She was a captain before she's a senior, and you underclassmen, take note. Whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, or a junior, you don't have to wait till your senior year to be a leader. I truly believe that leaders are born, not made. That's just my personal opinion. This young lady has been a leader in our school, and not only, being a part of being a Black Knight is playing a sport, but it's also supporting other sports in any shape, form, or fashion that you can. And this young lady, when we talked about this award, Coach Walsh, said, well, let's be honest with you, Todd, I kept up with the wrestling team because of Ivy Odom and what she did on Facebook. And I can tell you, for this season, she's going to leave a gigantic void and hard shoes to fill for her promotion of our team. But when you look across the board and you look at what she's done for our school and all the sports and being supportive and showing up and being a great cheerleader, she truly is very deserving of this award, and that is my daughter, Ivy Lulu Owens. Once a black man, always a black man. Yes, sir.
Move on here to, well, I asked Coach Odom today, we hope it ain't his last hurrah, but it kind of is. We've tried to make completely with him, get him stay, but he's ready to go, so we'll try to get you back off the camera, brother. We love you. Next two awards is our Sportsmanship, Valor, and Honor Awards, and these two awards are named after very special people, and like I said up here before, some of you younger athletes, you need to check into the history of this school. You need to check who has been here before you, and where they are going, and who has led this program. These two people are some of the most special coaches that's ever been in this state, let alone our school. They're state Hall of Fame people. And the first award is for the females. And that award is named after Judy Nichols, researcher. I think I looked in the Grand Star yesterday, and it said 50 years ago, Judy Nichols was being honored in Chapel Hill for all the awards she had won as a coach in girls softball. So these are nice honors, and if you win these sportsmanship awards, to me that is more important than anything else you can do. That means you're a good person. That means that everybody thinks the world of you, and you've accomplished a lot, and you're going to go a long way, and you're going to have a lot of success. Our girls recipient this year is Hallie Anderson. Our Boys Award is named after Bob Cobbin, and I just can't imagine you not knowing who Coach Cobbin is. He's all of us idol. He's our hero. If you know anything about athletics, he's who set the tone and started state championships, and there's 14 of them now, so he's quite a man. Our recipients for this year's Bob Cobbin Award is Dason Gross and Carson Lowe. Okay, the next two awards are the Ed Jackson Awards, and here again is a little bit of history. And if your name is on the award for the most valuable athletes in the school every year, you've done something special for a school and for a community. And Mr. and Miss Jackson, they raised a bunch of athletes. I don't know what y'all know or don't know about them, but every one of them's in the Hall of Fame, and every one of them won championships. And just talk about a tremendous family of athletes that this family was. And we're so proud to have these honors named after Mr. Ed Jackson. This year's most valuable athlete, female, is Zoe Schuler. The male recipient this year is a tie, Carlos Wesley and Brock Adams. Ms. Buchanan has asked me to get you people that won any of these art club awards to all please come up here together so we can get a picture of these athletic awards. That would be all these fancy glass awards here. While they're getting up here, I do want you to know that in the past, we've done a real good job getting the doctor's people that we use in Silva to help us with physicals and getting free physicals. We're getting 150 to 100 and 200 physicals a year free. But since COVID has hit, it's slowed the hospital down, and we're not able to do that right now. So everybody who's going to participate in sports next year needs to pick up a form either from their coach or the office and get a physical before. Because you're required to have a physical to do these summer workouts. And we all want as many people that are summer workouts as we can. That's how we're going to win. Mr. Madison just let us know that 2 days a week this summer, the School-Based Health Center will give physicals for $25 a piece, so you can just schedule that. That's over at the elementary building. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and helping with this celebration. It's been awesome. We've got great kids here. Let's continue to do good. Have a safe trip home.